go with another Slash report from Death Curse Society. You can catch the Death Curse Society every other Thursday on YouTube, brand new episodes twice a month. But the Slash report is our little breakdown weekly so we can stay current on all the shows. We're going to be doing American Horror Story, we're going to be doing Creepshow, The Walking Dead this way. That way we're always current, we're never catching up, right? So, American Horror Story 1984. This week, the show opens with Karen racing to Camp Redwood to meet Margaret to warn her that Mr. Jingles has indeed escaped and is probably on his way to finish the job he started 14 years ago in 1970 by killing Margaret. Margaret's not having any of it, though, says the camp will open on schedule and there's no one going to stop him. And if Mr. Jingles is stupid enough to show up there, it will be the last thing he ever does. Karen, not satisfied with this answer, does leave and quickly is taken out after blowing a tire at the gate of the camp, and Mr. Jingles shows up, dispatches her promptly before the credits. So this week we started getting a little deeper into the backstories of some of the characters. We had Brooke, who learned that white might not be the best color for a wedding. We learned Margaret will open this camp at all costs, and we also learned Xavier is not gay, but a 20 is a 20.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Brooke was one of the main focuses on the backstories this week as she revealed to Montana the details about her wedding a year earlier, saying her vows, and when it was her husband's, soon-to-be husband's turn, he said he knew what she had done the night before with the best man, which was nothing. She was afraid and didn't want to be alone, so the best man stayed over. You know, a bride and groom can't see each other the night before a wedding. It's bad luck. So the best man stays over, sleeps on the couch. The groom thinks something went down. They're both supposed to be virgins still. He can't deal with it, pulls out a gun, kills the best man, kills her father, and then kills himself, covering her in blood. Just horrific, horrific, horrific. Yes, Brooke screwed up, and very plausible that this could all be in her head, especially with this whole Night Stalker angle going on. Speaking of which, the Night Stalker does show up and attacks Brooke on the dock after she discovers a body floating in the water. But it's a near miss where he can't catch her with the knife and she narrowly escapes. It's just all too convenient and cliche. But she gets away, informs her friends that she saw the Night Stalker here at the camp. Just before she comes up and alerts them of what's going on with the Night Stalker, we learn that Xavier, and who had called him in episode 1 on the phone, is a former sugar daddy or daddy kind of character who discovered Xavier in a ditch with a heroin needle in his arm, cleaned him up, got him going, and then got him into gay porn for money. Xavier says he's not gay, but you know, this man does not want to hear this. He wants to make more money. So Xavier gets the idea, hey, what if I can offer you somebody that could be the next John Holmes, you know? Meaning Trevor, our camp counselor and favorite Jane Fonda aerobics workout tape reject. So Xavier does his best Porky's impersonation by drilling a hole in the wall where the boys are taking showers and letting Daddy get a good look at Trevor and the rest of the guys. And he likes what he sees. Xavier takes off running, and Mr. Jingles steps in and dispatches Daddy by like a nice spike right through the head, right in the back, sticks him to the wall. Excellent. The rest of the counselors are starting to think this Night Stalker thing is real that Brooke is screaming about. They have no idea Mr. Jingles is even there. They've been talking about it, but they're still thinking figments of imagination at this point. Then we go to the Night Stalker. He's making his way into the woods searching for Brooke, and he finds Margaret, who seems almost like she was expecting him at her cabin. Brings him in, is very calm, relaxed, starts dressing his wounds, and gets to hear about all his traumatic and what made him the Night Stalker, what made him this horrible monster. She seems to understand all this and tells him that it's all part of God's plan. Because as the Night Stalker was making his way up to Margaret's cabin, it's the same guy the counselors ran over last week in the van and then kept quiet about it. And he was killed by Mr. Jingles. But here he is again. He runs into the Night Stalker, and this man says, "You're not supposed to be here. What are you doing here?" And he's quickly killed by the Night Stalker. So he asked Margaret about who is this person? How is it possible he could kill him and he would still come back? She finishes dressing the Night Stalker and tells him to do what he has to do and God will sort it out at the end. She goes off and finds the hitchhiker, and he is just as shocked to see her as she is to see him. The only conclusion we're left is Margaret says, I don't think you survived that night in 1970, which makes no sense. The hitchhiker says he remembers seeing Margaret drenched in blood, but was too scared to help her and ran off into the woods where he was taken out by Mr. Jingles. But Margaret looked very calm, not very much a victim in that scene. Could she be Mr. Jingles or responsible for it? The twists are coming now in full force. I just hope they don't kill this whole slasher angle before it gets too good. The questions are starting to pile up. It's American Horror Story 1984. Tune in next week when the Colonel will be here to give you the episode 3 breakdown. Until then, DCS out.